Sprint hurdlers, Coach Cotto here. Let's talk hurdles. Moving on from the last video in which I taught you how to run the race from beginning to end, all out, foot on the gas, 100% of the way. Now, let's take a look. We're going to learn it from beginning to end. So, blocks to the first hurdle, your first opportunity to gather as much speed as possible, all right? Regardless of what anybody tells you, the first hurdle is the most important hurdle. All right, it's the only hurdle you get more than 3 steps. All right, it's the only hurdle you get more than 3 steps. You have to take advantage of it. You have to really perfect your start as a hurdler if you're planning on winning. All right, because at the top, the very best will have an incredible start, guaranteed 100% every single time. And so let's look at it. First, there's the reaction. All right, now with the reaction, you should expect to react faster than anybody else. All right, and so number one is you got to have a good reaction. Now you got to have good block clearance. This is primarily by setting up the blocks properly. Now, the key is that you're comfortable in them, because no 2 block settings are going to be exactly alike. You're comfortable in them. It's fit to your body. All right, and most importantly is that you can actually push your hardest from the blocks. If you're in the blocks and you feel like you're not really pushing at 100%, guess what? You still got to work on your blocks. If you're getting in your blocks and you feel like that first step is big, but it's placed, or it's slow, but it's strong, wrong. It needs to be instant. It needs to be an explosion. It needs to be automatic, all right? And it's by block position. I teach you this with the push-up start. All right, I got a checklist for you. It's very, very, very simple. All you got to do is apply it, and then you go tweaking it as you start getting results and making the modifications to it. All right, but block clearance is about setting up the blocks and having the power behind you from the weight room and the plyometric work to be able to explode from the blocks. Now, the first half of that first hurdle is power. You're pushing out as strong as you can, as powerfully as you can. You're trying to take as big a strides as possible. That's the first 4 steps. You're pushing as far away from the blocks as you possibly can. All right? Push, 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 push. You develop this by doing 30-meter sprints, dry phases, getting a sled, all right, and pushing it to develop that push power. All right? It's going to be strength. It's going to be weight room. It's going to be the position that you're leaving the blocks from, all right? First 4 steps, you're pushing. Then you have to get up to top speed. Now, this is really where the magic happens, all right? You can get out ahead of somebody and still be behind off that first hurdle if you're not turning over as fast as possible. So like I said in the last video, it should feel what top speed feels like in the 100 meters. In the 100 meters through top speed, you don't feel the placement of your feet. All you feel is the all-out swinging of the arms. That is going to give you the best start possible. That is where you need to be through the first hurdle. And that is the scariest thing about hurdling. It's that first hurdle. If you get through that first hurdle, the rest of them are pretty much taken care of. All right? The key is to move through it like it's not there. The same way that you're moving your legs all out through 60 meters and 100 meters is literally how it has to be through that first hurdle. You have to move through it as if you're not planning to clear it. All right, and I say this a million times because it's what it is. All right, you have to move through it as if you're not planning to clear it. And you have to trust your body, all the reps, all the training that you've done to clear the hurdle when it's time to clear the hurdle. But here's what most people do. They get to the hurdle and they want to clear it fast. All right? They want to do something at that last step to make hurdle clearance good or great or better. All right? And that's not it. You have to move through the first hurdle as if you weren't planning to clear the hurdle. All right? That takes guts. All right? It takes courage. It takes you understanding that you might run right into the hurdle. That's what you do reps for. That's what practice is for. And so, the key is to be in proper position into the first hurdle. That means you get there and the foot lands right underneath the hips and you have a forward lean. That is your ultimate goal with the first hurdle. That's going to allow you to continue accelerating. Because if you get to that first hurdle very fast, but you're out of position, that means you stop accelerating until you get back to the track, all right? You want to accelerate right through that hurdle and continue sprinting. And so the key is to be explosive, to drive out, to work up to full frequency before that first hurdle. And it's all for that freeze frame. When you touch down in that 8th step, that foot has to be right underneath the body with the forward lean, all right? So the start is all for putting you in proper position through the first hurdle so that you can continue to accelerate, all right? So those are 4 keys, all right? Block clearance, pushing over or pushing as far as possible for the first 4. Then you turn over as fast as possible, not preparing to hurdle. And it's all for the all-important cut step, which should be right underneath the body with the lean slightly forward, leaning into the hurdle, all right? And so that takes you from the blocks through the first hurdle so you can accelerate. And in the next video, we'll take a look at how it should look accelerating through the 5th hurdle when you reach top speed. Questions, comments? Let me know. We're going to continue learning how to hurdle, how to run faster, teaching you how it goes from the beginning of the race to the end of the race. Questions, comments? Leave them below. Coach Cotto signing out. Run fast. Make them chase you.